would you say that it would be an illegal DEI for a lesson plan on the Tulsa Race Massacre?
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Do you know what the Tulsa Race Massacre is?
I'd like to look into it more and get back to you on it.
Okay, so I look forward to that. How about the book Through My Eyes by Ruby Bridges, for instance?
I haven't read that.
Have you learned about Ruby Bridges?
If you have specific examples you'd like
That
to
was a
cite,
specific example.
I'll be.
How about social studies standards that teach that President Biden won the 2020 election?
I think our studies should all be taught accurately.
I'm Antwann Michael, and this is The Breakdown. I'm tired. I am so over this. How are you sitting as the head of the Department of Education and you don't know what the Tulsa race riots are? You don't know what their impact is. Oh, I have to look that up. I have to read it. How is it that you are living, existing, breathing, and moving in this nation as the head of the Department of Education, and you don't know the social context that brings this nation about? How are you the head of the Department of Education and you don't know who Ruby Bridges is? How is that possible, particularly as the head of the Department of Education? You've got to get real at some point in time. This lets you know how insulated whiteness is. The fact that you can move through this nation and not be able to answer these questions, and even the lady next to her couldn't help her answer the questions because they both don't know the importance of the Tulsa race riots, nor do they know who Ruby Bridges is, nor can they speak to the fact that Joe Biden won an election, but this is who is heading up education in the United States. But you have the audacity to tell people who come into the United States to study at our preeminent institutions that they don't belong, but you can't even answer a simple question about who Ruby Bridges is and what she means to the history of education in these United States of America. But you have the audacity to come onto campuses across the United States and forcefully deport people out, revoke their student visas, and tell them they don't have a right to learn that which you refuse to read. And this is why we as non-white folk have difficulty in forming meaningful social movement relationships with white women. Because what this moment is all about is, but for me being a woman, I too would be able to move like Donald Trump. Not a lick of qualification, not a lick of education, not a lick of policy experience, but you are sitting at the head of the Department of Education and you are dismantling it bit by bit by bit by bit. And what is funny about this, if you are on the right side of the aisle and you want your child to excel and be and do marvelous things in life, well, that's going to be circumvented because this fool is sitting at the head of the department, so your child will never learn anything. That side of the aisle always want to say, oh, in America, your dreams can't come true. Not today. With what education? How is your child going to learn to run that business? How is your child going to know how to properly address an envelope? Is your child prepared for when AI goes down? Can your child have critical thinking skills? How can your child, and this for the folks on the right side of the aisle, because the left, for the most part, y'all get it, right? But for the folks on the right side of the aisle, how is it that your child is going to articulate what their American dream is and make that happen when the person that sits at the head of the Department of Education cannot even educate herself out of a brown paper bag that says made in the USA at the bottom? I would like to know the answer to that question. This is who the future is. This is the person who holds the future in her hands. In her hands. And I want to be very, very clear about this. That when educators step into the classroom, what is there is an implicit contract between the educator, I don't care at what level, that it is between the educator and the student. That the student is trusting the educator with their minds, that the educator will not lead them wrong. And that same implicit contract exists for administrators, all the way up to the Department of Education. But who's sitting at the top of the Department of Education can't even speak to who Ruby Bridges is, cannot even speak to what the Tulsa race riots are or their impact. What does this mean for the minds of our children? What does this mean? Yet, she has the audacity to sit up there and talk down her nose to a black woman as if the black woman doesn't know what's going on. This goes back to, we have to work twice as hard to get half as far, a quarter as far. Because the only thing that she can teach you to do, maybe, is wrestle. Maybe how to put on bad foundation that doesn't match her concealer. Maybe. Didn't even have the audacity to get a glam squad to beat your face right before you set up in front of a committee talking this ignorance out of your mouth that you don't even, I have to look into it. What do you mean by you have to look into it? You are the head of the Department of Education. Education is such a vital thing that people have a right to know who they are, where they come from, and to be proud of their being and their existence. This is why we teach different cultural backgrounds, different histories, so that we understand what has made up this place that is called the United States of America. It is up to you to build a critical analytical insight to determine whether or not you're willing to buy into that. But here is this person at the head of the Department of Education who is chopping budgets for students who are differently abled, who is trying to redo history. History is political. Learning is political. Education is political. And the fact that this is who is leading the department is a mockery. And the world is laughing at us. The world is laughing at us. And when this wave is over, it is going to take decades to rebuild what my ancestors built up, what your ancestors built up. All because they don't want people like me and other non-white persons to have access to education. Will run up in Columbia University and threaten their accreditation. We'll go to different university campuses and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. We'll go to these different K through 12 institutions and say, don't teach this, don't teach that. What are you afraid of? That the truth will be revealed? But somebody said, what's in the dark will come to light. And I want to encourage all of the educators out there, regardless of the level that you teach at, to keep going. Because what you are doing in the classroom every single day, whether it's English, whether it's social sciences, whether it's history, political sciences, the humanities, sociology, biology, chemistry, whatever have you, you are the revolution every time you stick your key in that door and you turn it and you open it and you open up the minds. You are a direct protest every day. Keep doing it, and keep doing it until they get it, because we care about what the future is going to look like. And it is disgusting that this is who is leading our Department of Education. Not a single degree, not a single ounce of minute dedicated to studying the structures and institutions that she's heading up, but has the mitigated gall to sit there and act like she knows something. Get a grip. And to every student out there, regardless of level, when you enter in that classroom, hold your head up. Get what's yours. Get in the books. Be serious about your studies, because education is a political struggle. Get what's yours. There have been folks that have struggled for you to have access to knowledge, and don't you come short of what you deserve. And if you've wanted to go back to school, now is your time. Rush these campuses, fill out your application, get in that classroom, and refuse to be denied the knowledge that's yours. I'll see you next time. Peace.